Hey everybody, John Iron 2 here, and welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. We last left off, Iris and Susato looked at me cross-eyed, and I have a feeling they're going to put a image or set of images up on the screen for me to IRL look at cross-eyed. And by extension, all you lovely viewers also get to look like idiots, just like me, and look at your TV screen, your phone screen, your computer screen, cross-eyed. At least that's what I think is going to happen. So let's see. Show us. Start by staring at one print and slowly crossing your eyes. You should see two overlapping images like this. You try it now, Runo. I'm just going to have to give it a try, I suppose. Did the print split into two images for you? Now the next step. Okay, I didn't realize it was going to continue on, so you have to back it up and pause if you want to try that. Is to put the pair prints side by side like this and then try crossing your eyes again. All right, let me do it. I'm trying, I can't get it. I think my monitor's too big for me to cross my eyes enough to line these two up. Okay, I managed to make it work, but it's blurry. But I do see a 3D creepy cat looking at me, kind of blurry. I'll try it again. Yeah, it works. I don't see how that's going to help us with this case, other than this is just a side thing to do. The prints should slowly merge together. They didn't slowly, it works pretty quickly because of the distance. They form a new single image in the center. Oh yes! Mr. Naruhodo, it works! I can see it in the middle now. It looks so real. Oh, I could look at it all day. Oh my goodness. Don't do that. I wouldn't advise that. Your eyes might start to hurt. Your turn, Runo. Yeah, we're supposed to do this IRL. All right, I'm gonna do it one more time. Yeah, when I do it, it's so blurry that I just get this like 3D image of a creepy cat staring at me. It looks cute in these pictures, but when I do the blurry 3D vision, it looks super creepy. Pretend you're looking through the two pictures and slowly cross your eyes. Keep adjusting the position of your eyes until the two images overlap exactly in the middle. Like this, is it? Yep. I did it. That was a thing we did. There, you managed it, so now you know how stereoscopic images work. Well, I don't know who discovered it, but it really is quite extraordinary. So what do you think of these stereoscopic prints then, Runo? They're certainly amazing, but it isn't easy to get the knack of viewing them properly. No, some people find it easier than others. But that's why contraptions like this exist, for people who find it tricky. Oh, I recognize that. We saw one over there yesterday, didn't we? Wait, what? How did... Hold on. Before we get to this, if we weren't actually looking at the image, how did she recognize something that she was talking about before we came over here to look at the objects? Did anybody else notice that? Or am I looking too deep into this? If I remember correctly, you press this little knob here. Then set the pair of photographs in the stand at the back and It's still amazing, even though I know roughly how it works now. Well, London seems to agree with you. Stereoscopes are very popular at the moment. You can find one of these folding contraptions in lots of households in the capital currently. But if these little machines are so affordable, surely there's no need to go around staring cross-eyed at pictures like you hate them. But it's much more satisfying to be able to see the effect with your own eyes. Well, I think so, in any case. Stereoscopic pictures. I'd never even heard of them until yesterday. We've certainly learned a lot about them, but I wonder if it's knowledge that I'll ever actually need. No, in this game, yes, it will be. The second white cat photograph has been entered into the court record. Photograph depicting a sweet little white cat. It feels as though I have another print just like this one. Since it's in the court record, we'll go ahead and look at the back of it again just to make sure it's entered. This is the ticket that Gina brought in here yesterday. Yes, having been entrusted to her by Mr. McGilded 2 months earlier. So we have a nice thumbprint of Egbert Benedict. They mentioned fingerprints in one of the earlier trials. This may become relevant. Article deposited one gentleman's overcoat, and the other redemption ticket was in the pocket of that coat. Yes, for a small box deposited 2 days before the omnibus incident. Could that have anything to do with all this? I'm sure it does. All right, let's continue examining. What else do we have here? So, can I look at the shovels now, or is this just this whole table? That ledger that's open on the counter there really is enormous, isn't it? It must be an awful lot of work to keep track of all these hundreds of items in pawn. It's too much to think about. Better to sell it all and have a clear head if you ask me. But clearly Mr. Windybank was very careful when it came to the articles in his care. There's a broken lamp there. Can we look at the lamp? No, we can't. That seems relevant. Alright, so we're done over on this side. Oh. The door we can look at. Does that mean we'll go there? Behind that door is the storeroom, isn't it? That's what Gregsy said. Yes, and that's where I saw that dreadful scene last night. Through the little window in the door. Looked like he'd shot in the back. So yeah, it seems very unlikely she would have did it. Mr. Windybank, face down on the floor, with Gina beside him. As the accused legal representative, you have the right to examine the scene, Mr. Naruhodo. We must make a thorough investigation. Yes, of course, and we will. Behind that door, that's the real scene of the crime. Don't worry, if there are clues in there, I'll find them. I don't want to go back there yet. Let's talk to this dude. The police are scouring every inch of this place by the look of it. Instructions from the yard are to examine every article in the shop and every ledger and book of accounts. Every article? But that's a ridiculous amount of work, surely. We've been hard at it ever since the shop was declared a crime scene in the early hours. We're sifting through it all in shifts at least, but still, we'll be working through the night, that's for sure, and even then we'll barely have scratched the surface. A crime and a pawnbroker's. It must be every policeman's worst nightmare. It's every copper's worst nightmare, you know. Crime and a pawnbroker's. You read my mind, brother. Clocks. Now, there are cameras in here, but he says he doesn't put the film in them because the film's too expensive. All right, here's a music player. That's a music box. Do you have them where you come from, Runo? Yes, but I've never seen one as large as this in Japan. Oh, well, this will be a treat. Shall we have a listen? What do you think? Isn't it a pretty sound? It's a beautiful sound, yes, but it's a little hard to enjoy when all the policemen in the room are giving you fierce looks. Never mind that. If any of them say anything, I'll tell Gregsy to have a word. Iris Wilson, Superintendent of Scotland Yard. Okay. Oh, what's this? Just the general shelf, I think. These shelves are where the pawnbroker puts articles that have been forfeited on display for customers to buy. Yes, it's a really strange miscellany, isn't it? I mean, who would buy this horse statue, for example? Well, sometimes you can find some real treasures among all the junk, you know. Are you alright, Runo? Oh, it's just, well, it looks like a collection of useless junk as a whole, but when you pick out individual things, you can't help wishing you owned them. Even that horse statue. It's exactly how the pawnbroker works. They're very clever. I like going to pawn shops and looking at stuff. It's always fun. Alright, nothing here. Let's go over here. Now, I see the calendar there. We'll get to it. Stereoscope. Let's look. This is that strange contraption that lets you see pictures of things as if they're right in front of your eyes. It makes you think. When Mr. Sholmes gleefully showed it to us yesterday, we were blissfully unaware that any of this was about to happen. Well, yeah, you could say that about anything in life. Let's look at the portable stereoscope. I'm fairly sure this contraption was here yesterday as well. It was, we looked at it. Here we are, though I'm not confident I can get it closed again. Oh, yes, that's a folding stereoscope. Really? This is a stereoscope? We know this already. Mr. Sholmes showed us a picture yesterday that you were supposed to be able to see in 3 dimensions. But for that, he used the great big contraption over there. Ah, well, that's for use in public houses and places like that. It contains a carousel with all sorts of pictures inside. But this little thing is a much simpler design for use at home. There are special shops selling prints you can use in them. I have a little collection myself. Wonder if I could make money out of these in Japan. It'd beat keeping my toilet sparkling clean anyway. Wait, what? It would beat keeping my toilet sparkling clean? Was he insinuating that for fun he cleans his toilet? Weird. There's this guy. We'll talk to him. And then there's the calendar. All right, we're going straight for the calendar and then we're going to talk to him. Ah, look here. Is there a bullet lodged in there? It doesn't look like a hole. It looks like the bullet is lodged in there. Oh yes, a bullet hole. And I can see the bullet is still lodged in the wall. Presumably, Mr. Windybank wasn't practicing with his revolver in his spare time. There's also blood here. How would blood have made it all the way on this side of the shop? Oh, I think I get it. All right, new theory time. New deduction from Charlie Diner 2. You ready? So, Jenny came in here, snuck in, nobody saw her. She was in the back room, right? These two thugs came to shoot Mr. Windybanks on purpose. Shot him in the back near this calendar because there's blood spatter on the calendar. That was there before we came in with Sholmes. Then they took the body, threw him in the back room face first, right? And he had a gun on him. So Jenny grabbed the gun from the dead Mr. Windybanks and cowered in the corner until she fell asleep to hide from the thugs. That's current theory. And then we came in and they shot Mr. Sholmes. That's my current theory. So they're assassins, maybe? Ah, well. Mr. Sholmes likes to practice in his drawing room whenever he can. He's very patriotic like that. Sorry? It's all there in the adventures of Herlock Sholmes, you know? Isn't that right, Iris? Ah, did I write something like that? Partly in jest, perhaps. In jest? Well, he doesn't do it often. It's quite a dangerous pastime. He doesn't do it often? He shouldn't even do it once. Forget that for now, Runo. Let's examine this bullet. What's that around the bullet hole? Is it blood? A suspicious red stain on the calendar. Aha! I may well be able to help with that. What? There's nothing like the sight of blood to get the blood pumping, is there, Runo? Ugh, I have a feeling I'm not as bloody-minded as you, Iris. I'm afraid the sight of blood makes my blood run cold. There you have it. You see, when it comes to blood, we're all different types. Yes, what a scientific observation. So you need this. Oh no, what is that scary looking thing? Harley and I haven't actually come up with a name for it yet. But as soon as you see it in action, you'll understand what it does. Watch. Green. Oh, the color of the blood stain has changed? There, does it make sense now? Yes, I think I'm starting to understand. Good. It works on the principle that if different people have different types of blood, you see. Yes, how wonderful. The chemical it fires combines with the blood and makes it change color. So you can identify whose blood it is that you're looking at. In a flash. Oh, what a fabulous invention, Iris. Isn't it? Isn't it? I bet Jenny would say it's bleeding great. So whose blood are we looking at then? Well, all the chemical does is turn the blood a different colors, so just find someone whose blood turns the same color and you'll know who it belongs to. In a flash. It's more like 2 flashes, really, isn't it? 1 flash or 2, this could well turn out to be a very valuable clue. So you must make note of it in the court record. The blood sample has been entered into the court record. A sample of blood analyzed with the special chemical indicator developed by Mr. Sholmes. Different people's blood turns different colors. Yeah, but that can't be used in court. Maybe in this court. Let's keep testing and add in the results of any other blood analysis to the portfolio. As long as I have a reagent left, sure. Actually, there's a stain on the back of that one photograph, isn't there? Yeah, I was just thinking of that. I think perhaps we should see if that can tell us anything. So, do we just go to the court record and examine it? Mr. Naruhodo, I don't know if you've noticed, but there's something rather troubling here. I have noticed. The red smear, you mean? Yeah, it looks like blood, doesn't it? I wonder if Susato-san had picked up on that. Well, in that case, yes, we need Iris. We should show this to her before we forget. White cat photograph number 2's information has been updated in the court record. A redemption ticket issued from the pawnbrokery owned by the victim, Mr. Windybank. There's what looks to be a bloody finger mark on it. So, how do we give that to Iris? Is she physically here? Or maybe we can go to... Oh, yes, there she is. So we can present it to her. Present that. Oh, that looks like blood. I would say it's from a gloved finger. Oh, he had a glove on. I'm almost certainly a glove made of leather. Well, don't worry, Runo. You can leave the rest to me. Purple. Look at that. Yep, that's a color we haven't seen before, isn't it? We simply must add it to the portfolio of blood samples. It could be an important clue. Although, it would be nice to find out whose blood these different colors correspond to at some point. Well, this particular stain of blood... Oh, you've had an idea, haven't you? Do you know whose blood this is? Yeah, I do. Yes, I have an idea whose blood it is. Not from the color it turned, but with a little deduction. That's right. I think it's clear. Iris, you know as well? You first, Bruno. Who do you think it belongs to? Alright, I believe that this is the blood of... No. Huh. I was thinking this was the blood of Egbert Benedict. But that's not the case. If that's not the case... Oof. Let's look at the court record. What is this redemption ticket for? 15th of February. One gentleman's overcoat. £1. Redemption 15th April. So this is for the overcoat. It can't be Magnus McGilded, because he didn't deposit the overcoat and he was dead before he could get it. It could be Gina. It can't be Thrice Fired Mason. It could be Pop Windibank. I'm pretty sure it's Gina. But Gina was never hurt that I'm aware of. Whereas Pop Windibank, well, he was shot. But I swear that Egbert's the one that hurt his hand, where he said, "You've drawn blood." All right, maybe it was Gina who drew blood on her own self. Let's say it's her. Oh my, you think this is Gina's blood? Yes, it was Gina who brought the ticket here to Windibank's after all. Sometimes the simplest answer is the right one. But Gina doesn't own any gloves at all. Oh. And Jenny wasn't injured either, was she? Yeah, but like, I figured that out, but like Pop Windibank didn't wear gloves either, did he? We're trying to work out who the blood came from, so we can rule out anyone who hadn't been bleeding straight away. Perhaps my answer was a little too simple. I have to think this through some more. Who do we know that was bleeding at the time? I mean, Egbert Benedict, right? Magnus wasn't bleeding ever. Pop Windibank wasn't bleeding when this was recovered. Why would Thrice Fired Mason even have any blood on here? Gina said she had his blood on her fingers. Alright, I guess I'm just going to answer them all, because I feel dumb. I don't know the answer to this. I thought it was the Egbert Benedict guy. Windibank would be handling this, and he is dead. Let's try that. You think somehow it could be Mr. Windibank's blood? Well, he would have been the last person to have handled the ticket. Sometimes the simplest answer... No, that's not the right one. But Mr. Windibank had no injuries before he was shot, that is. We're trying to work out who the blood came from, so we can rule out anyone who hadn't been bleeding. Yeah, I got that. He was bleeding at some point. Perhaps it's not a concept you can really grasp unless you bled before yourself. Funnily enough, I've accidentally cut myself before, but thanks for the mildly threatening advice, Iris. I have to think this through some more. Who do we know that was bleeding at the time? Alright, I believe this is the blood of... It's going to have to be Thrice Fired Mason. Why is his blood on that ticket? That doesn't make sense to me. Unless the carriage driver who turned in the coat and got this ticket had blood on his hands. You don't sound very sure of yourself the way you trailed off there. I'm not. Well, it was 2 months ago now, in that case. And of course, I'd never met the victim, so I'm struggling to remember his name. He was definitely thrice fired, though. The victim of the omnibus case? Yes, his name was indeed Mr. Thrice-Fired Mason. But that would mean that this bloodstain was left on the ticket 2 months ago. Yes, I think it was. Gina brought this ticket here to Windybanks yesterday. I'm suggesting that the bloodstain was already on it at that time. So it's a smear of blood from the time that Mr. Mason was killed 2 months ago. Alright, and we know there's blood on the disc from Egbert Benedict. Something else is coming back to me now. Mr. McGilded was also wearing leather gloves that night. Now I ask you, what good-hearted soul wouldn't rush to help a fellow bleeding from his stomach? I wasn't about to start worrying about me gloves now. Okay, that makes sense. I feel dumb for not having put that together. I guess I was just thrown off so much by thinking it was that the blood stain was from the crazy guy, Egbert Benedict. Wasn't about to start worrying about me gloves now, was I? I reached out to give the man a hand. So when the carriage driver brought the ticket back to McGilded, McGilded grabbed it with bloody hands and then hid it. It certainly does look like a leather glove thumbprint, this mark. But we know that Mr. McGilded had no injuries at the time anywhere on his body, from which we can conclude that any blood on the glove belonged to the victim, Mr. Mason. Mr. Naruhodo, you sound just like Mr. Sholmes. Yeah, but I got it wrong twice before this. Minus the quirky slip-ups, I hope. Yes, I think you're right, Runo. Very well. Let's make a note of this. The details of the pawnbroker's ticket for the coat have been updated in the court records. The blood on it has been identified as Mr. Mason's. The blood samples portfolio has been updated in the court record. All right, let's do some more examination. I think we've looked at everything, but we did not talk to this guy. This officer has been staring intently at the wall since before we came in here. Shh, keep it down. Oh, sorry. There's a major clue just here. Really? Then we must tell Grexy at once. But as soon as I report it, that'll be it. I'll be stuck here even longer. Stuck here? What do you mean? I haven't been home in 2 days already. I need another constable to relieve me and take over me shift. Ah, they really have a tough time, the British police. That doesn't stop us investigating, though, does it? Nope, I suppose not. I'm fairly sure it was a calendar he was peering at. So, in case you didn't see this... Oh, is it still? It doesn't say it's checked off. Let's click it again. Green blood. Just seems wrong somehow. Oh, there are all sorts of different colors. There are pretty pinks and purples too, you know. Like I said, everyone's blood is different. I wonder what color my blood would turn out. Actually, I don't want to know. Okay, that was it. And I think we've covered everything in here. Let's go to the back room. New location. The storeroom where pawned items are kept until they're redeemed or forfeited is also where Mr. Windybank's body was discovered. Maybe there's some blood back here we can test. There is, certainly. They just left the pistol there, too. There's keys. There's all kinds of stuff here. 16th April, Windybank storeroom. Poor Iris. She's clammed up completely. Iris is bound to find this difficult. After all, Mr. Windybank's life was taken in this very room only last night. Ah! Wait, Inspector. What is it now, Sunshine? You took one look at me and tried to run away. You think a Scotland Yard inspector would run away from some jumped-up little defense lawyer, do you? Well... I've never seen her ladyship looking like that before, is the thing. I didn't know what to say to her. So you weren't running away from me, you were running away from a 10-year-old. I'm afraid this is all a little much for young Iris. Some gentle reassurance might go a long way, perhaps, Inspector. Eh? Ahem. Don't trouble yourself unduly, your ladyship. I mean, at least you're not dead, are you? That's a great job there. And we're going to leave it at this scene right here. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy my content, please consider a like, a comment, and or a subscribe. Stay tuned for the next episode. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.